into the front room. Marlow Kubik with you. Look, we have a new addition to our family.
Rick.
We have a new addition to our family. Look at that. He's a beautiful dog. And we have to thank Tony Panic and Panic in the Region because they did.
Let me hold him.
They did a special. They did.
Let me hold him.
What's the matter? All right, hold on.
Come here. You come back here.
All right. Shh. You don't want to be on camera?
Okay.
Welcome into the front room. Marlow Kubik with you right here. Yes, another segment, another show, another bit as we move on.
Yes.
Look, we have a new addition to our family. We lost our last dog a few weeks ago. She was almost 19 years old. We had 3 dogs at one time. We had Lulu and Bobo. They were brother and sister. And then we had Binky, which was a stray that came in between all that. And they have all passed within the last 3 years. So I always look for a sign when we try and look for a new dog, and we always take homeless dogs or dogs that were abused. And we found this dog. We named him Owen. I have to thank Tony Panic and Panic in the Region because they did a special at the Whiting,
Whiting Animal Control.
Whiting Animal Control. That's 1915 Front Street. And I got to thank Nancy over there, Tony Panic, and Debbie Wargo, because it was weird how we found this dog at all. There was that sign again. Mm-hmm. And the sign was from Tony Panic and Panic in the Region, which you could catch his bit on the WJLB network. And on Panic in the Region, he has his own Facebook page. You could look it up, P-A-N-E-K.
Yes.
P-A-N-E-K. So the animal shelter, it's really good. It's out in Whiting, Indiana. And Nancy was real nice. And it ended up Nancy knows our neighbor, and our neighbor knows Nancy, and Nancy knows Debbie, and Debbie knows Nancy. And it all came. But he's a great little dog. He was abused. I think he was abused by a male because he laid into me a couple times. I'm trying to feel out the dog.
He likes mama more.
He's more mama's boy. But that's Owen. We call him O-O sometime. And he's a doll. He has to wear a diaper. He has little drippy problems.
And he's about 10 years old.
He's about 10 years old, and we're going to get him. He hasn't been fixed, so we're going to take him to the vet in a couple days because apparently he was found and someone had cut him. So he has some stitches that we have to let heal. But that's our Owen right now, so maybe you want to put him down.
All right, relax. You want to get down?
Yeah, he growls at Daddy sometimes.
There you go.
He doesn't mean to. I know.
We think there was a man who was mean to him, and he's going to learn that Daddy's not mean to him.
Yeah. Here in the front room, historical events you won't believe that happened at the same time.
Uh-oh. So simultaneous things that happened.
Oh, it's in the same year. So
in the same year, not on the same day.
Well, I don't know. It's a bit. Historical events you won't believe happened at the same time.
Okay. Let's go.
I'm guessing the same year, maybe not 9:15 in the morning on the 12th.
Well, then that's not the same time. Anyway, it's your bit. It's your bit.
Okay, this is a true story. Back in 1843, the first wagon crossed the Oregon Trail. Mm-hmm. I have no idea where that trail is.
It's probably in Oregon.
And what do you think was invented that same year?
GPS.
You're close. The fax machine was invented.
What, in 1700s?
1843.
Oh,
no, it's true.
It helps if I pay attention to him.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. Scottish inventor Alexander Bain received the patent for the first electric printing telegraph.
Which is a fax.
Which is a fax machine, a form of fax machine. The granddaddy of the modern fax machine. So that's what it was. And that was on May 27th, 1843, that same year. What is now known as the Great Migration of 1843. Dusty and everything like that. About 1,000 immigrants headed to Oregon via the wagon train on the Oregon Trail. That must have been horrible traveling in those. You watch the movies.
Like, it's bad enough to have a car without air conditioning.
It's bad enough driving with air conditioning.
Let alone to be in a carriage that's being pulled by horses through the desert.
Well, the thing is, you watch those Western movies and they got the wagon trail, and everyone looks all clean and dandy. Like the women are wearing
dusty as crap.
The women are wearing petticoats.
Right.
And
they had to be full of dust. They were all brown. They were all sepia.
They have the glasses on a stick.
They're all sepia.
Why was it always filmed in sepia, too? Oh, it's old. Let's see sepia.
That's why, yeah.
Here's another one. This is in 2660 BCE.
Wait.
What is BCE? I don't even know.
BC is before Christ.
BCE. I have to look that up.
Is it like before Christ ever?
I think it's before Christ ever. The woolly mammoths were still alive while the Egyptians were building the pyramids.
They were my favorite team.
Now, that would be a good name for a team.
The woolly mammoths.
Not the paradigms.
No, what was it? The horned frogs we were watching that beat Purdue last night?
We just had a Friday the 13th.
We did, and a full moon.
You realize that 13th thing is all religious.
Oh, of course.
It stems back from biblical times.
Oh, yes.
And Jesus, Jeezy Creasy was hanging out. He had that last meal. 13 dudes.
13 of them there.
Weird. They didn't teach me that in religion. I must have been daydreaming that day. Yeah, or that year.
Or that decade.
Here's another one. Junk that happened at the same time.
Junk. What are you, Beaver now? Wally and Beaver? And Junk?
You know that in London, England, over there in Britain, you could take the London Underground, that's what they call the subway there, to the last public hanging in the UK, which was in what year do you think?
I'm going to say like 1890.
Damn, you're pretty good. 1868.
Hey! This is what happens when you pay attention in school.
The last public hanging took place May 26, 1868, when Michael Barrett was executed in front of a crowd, 2,000 people outside the walls of the Newgate prison in London.
So you can take the Underground to the location that happened?
Well, the Barbican London Underground station was built in 1865. You didn't think they had that back then, but
no.
They were pretty swift. They, and the Brits, they invented the Harrier jet, too.
That's right.
That's cool. Cool stuff.
How'd that go?
So, yeah, the Barbican London Underground Station was built in 1865 as Aldergates, a street, and is only a 10-minute walk from the Newgate Prison, now the Central Criminal Courts building, according to Google Maps. This means it was entirely possible that Londoners took the tube to watch the hanging. So just odd things that happened at the same time. Prisoners arrived at Auschwitz just days after McDonald's was founded. This happened in 1940. Just an odd combination of events, don't you think? Now, most people connect McDonald's with post-World War II rather than World War II.
Yeah.
But brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald actually opened the first McDonald's restaurant May 15th, 1940. Where was that? In San Bernardino, California. There was a first McDonald's here in the Chicago area in Des Plaines, I believe.
Oh, I'm thinking the Rock and Roll McDonald's that they just redid in Chicago.
No, the original one with the golden arches, I think it was in Des Plaines, somewhere up there. And I think it's been torn down. It was kind of a museum, and then they built a regular McDonald's next to it. And I don't know, it got flooded or something. They ripped it. Tear it all down, man. They
Put
got
in a
mold.
car park.
Oh, here's one for the furniture people. Furniture people, yes, we have furniture
for all
people.
Our furniture people listening.
The Ottoman Empire.
Yes. Filled with furniture, of course.
Filled with furniture. Existed the second to the last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 1908.
I was going to say, you had to say the second to the last time because they just won it not too long ago.
Right. Now, here's an odd one. Back from 1889, Nintendo was founded when Jack the Ripper was still on the loose.
What year was that?
This claims 1889. Yes, wow. Japanese gaming giant Nintendo was founded on September 23rd, 1889.
That's
originally
crazy.
Producing handmade playing cards called Hanafuda.
Interesting. You didn't think... Yeah. I would not think Nintendo was that old.
Cool junk here in the Frunch Room.
Cool junk.
Here's one of my favorites. I've been here. By the time the Pilgrims made it to Plymouth Rock, there was a palace of governors in New Mexico. Did you know this?
There was a palace of governors in New Mexico.
Yes.
So the Pilgrims get to Plymouth Rock.
Yes, and they already had New Mexico in.
But those weren't Pilgrims in New Mexico.
Faithful pilgrims, maybe. I don't know. Let's read on. In the basic narrative of the formation of the United States that you get, of course, we got in school and the nuns and all that. The story begins with the hardy, faithful pilgrims that came on the ships sailing across, and they landed at Plymouth Rock in Massachusetts.
Which is funny because they came from Plymouth.
They came from Plymouth.
And they landed in Plymouth. What luck.
Good luck. They must have had a good...
Great GPS back then.
Well, they had the compass. The compass. They didn't have GPS. So the early group of settlers were in New England, right? And they landed in 1620. And they were in no way the first group to set up shop in the U.S. In fact, Spanish explorers, the conquistadors, had been establishing themselves in the Southwest for a century before the Pilgrims arrived. They had already built the Palace of Governors in Santa Fe, and they had full-on settlement going. So
let me get this straight. You already had Native Americans here.
Right.
Who were born here and lived here and...
Right. And we kicked their asses.
No, wait. Then the Spanish come in and they set up shop, and then the Pilgrims come in and just kill them all and take over?
Well, I guess this place is still here. They got a picture of it. This, what do you call it?
Palace of Governors?
Palace of Governors.
Right, but...
Yeah, governor.
But...
Yeah, I wonder if they call them that. Governor.
But...
Spaniards. Damn, Spaniards. I wonder what the food was like.
But if the Pilgrims came in and killed all the Pilgrims... killed all the Native Americans and took over, then they had to have killed the Spaniards as well.
I don't know, man. I wasn't around back then.
Well, you need to find this stuff out.
Got to ask the governor. This is where Tex-Mex food came from. The Spaniards came in.
I blame Bobby Flay.
Here's just a fancy little ditty for you. Star Wars came out the same year as The Last Guillotine.
Guillotine.
Why did they put all those L's in there? How do you say it?
Guillotine.
Guillotine.
Also,
Star Wars came out the same year as The Last Guillotine execution in France, and that was 1977.
Well, you also said how did you say the conquistadors?
Conquistadors.
You said something else though. Conquistadors, and it's conquistadors.
Do I look like I'm a Spaniard over here? Huh? I'm a Polak.
You're a Polak here, and you're going to get the guillotine if you keep talking like that.
Don't you hate websites?
Yes. Except for the French Room.
I hate. No,
we don't have a website.
We don't have a website.
Never mind.
I hate when you're online and you find a story and you click on it. And then there's that paragraph, and then you're reading, and then you go, well, where's the rest of it? And you can't find the button for the next button or the next thing, or
you scroll down and it's just a bunch of ads.
Yeah, like a bunch of ads. And actually, what you have to do sometimes is wait, and then
it hasn't loaded.
Then the next button. No, they want you to read those ads, and the next button comes a little while later. It's kind of like the newspaper. You're reading the newspaper. Go to page 131.
No, don't tell me what to do. I'm just going to stop reading.
Just put it all in one place. And do you really watch the ads online? You just look for that. We're skipping 5 seconds. If an ad goes, I got to watch this full ad for 20 seconds, I go and make myself a coffee or a cocktail and come back.
I have to bite my tongue on that one.
Why?
Because I work for advertising.
Oh, this is weird.
Ooh.
This is very weird. Okay. Ecstasy was invented the same year the Titanic sank back in 1912. You believe that?
Did they have anything to do with each other?
Well, the scientists in Germany first synthesized MDMA. MDA, baby. 70s. I think it was supposed to be some sort of appetite suppressant. That's what they originally were doing, and then it went awry.
And then people started going to raves.
And the patent happened back then in 1912 for ecstasy. So
I have an interesting bit of trivia on the Titanic that I heard on the radio over the week.
Oh, what's that?
Okay, there is something that could have prevented the Titanic accident, and it was something that was locked in the ship. What was it?
So there was something that could have prevented
the hitting of the iceberg.
The hitting of the iceberg, and it was locked in a container or
on the ship.
A compartment on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Flamethrower.
Nope.
Heaters for the hull.
No. It had nothing to do with temperature.
Rockets that could blast away icebergs. Nothing to do with temperature.
No.
Radar. It had to be radar.
No.
Or some soybeans. I don't know.
It's actually something so simple and nothing mechanical really at all. Nothing that would have blown anything up. The answer is binoculars. They did not have the binoculars to look to see ahead.
Didn't they have a telescope? Pirates had telescopes.
No.
The pirates always.
Yeah, they didn't have it on the Titanic.
They didn't have night vision back then?
No, and the binoculars were locked, and they didn't have the key or something to that extent, and they didn't...
They didn't even know what it was. Probably the captain was up there, damn, we hit this iceberg. Oh, no, before the iceberg. Damn, what are binoculars? We have binoculars, they're in a compartment. Well, we should get the binoculars out and look through the fog to see if we can see.
I think they were locked and they couldn't get the lock open or something, and then...
They didn't have any lock cutters? I mean, oh, those were locked in the other compartment. The bolt cutters are locked in the other compartment. Damn, they just invented the bolt cutters and we need those. You know, I don't go on ships, man. I don't like ships. I don't go on any big boats. I try and avoid.
We don't go in water unless it's a swimming pool or a bathtub.
Right here in the front room.
With great news for every traveler.
My lovely wife, Kamala.
Me.
My own person, Yoko.
Yoko.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time here.
Bye, everybody.